All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Let's get into this video.
I love our soccer. I'm half Argentinian and half Brazilian. I love my heritage. I love our soccer, our traditions, the meat, the insane landscapes, and the culture. But loving a place means you don't look away when it's rotting from the inside. We have to call out the history, the government, and the deep-seated racism that everybody else in Latin America and the world sees, but we continuously deny. There's a major reason why a vast majority of Latin America and the world don't like us. Argentina is easily one of the most racist countries in the world. We are quite literally the Israel of Latin America. Argentina had one of the quietest but most violent genocides in African and indigenous history. Let's stop lying to ourselves. The white Argentina you see today was engineered. It did not just happen naturally. It was a calculated, state-sponsored project of erasure, built on the same foundations of displacement and violence and erasure as America or Israel. Before Europeans showed up, this land belonged to the Diaguita, the Guarani, the Mapuche, and dozens of other indigenous nations. And in the 18th and 19th centuries, African people were a massive part of our fabric. Enslaved Africans were brought here starting in the 1500s. By the early 1800s, black and mulatto residents made up a third of the population nationwide, and up to 50% in some of the interior provinces. Where did they go? They didn't just vanish into thin air, they were systematically eliminated. During the Wars of Independence and the horrific War of the Triple Alliance, the state used Afro-Argentines as literal cannon fodder. They were pushed to the front lines to absorb bullets and die, decimating the male population. The black women who survived were forced to intermarry just to get by, accelerating the intentional disappearance of black identity. When the yellow fever epidemic hit Buenos Aires in 1871, the white elite packed their bags and fled to the wealthy suburbs. They left the poorest districts where the Afro-Argentine population was concentrated, quarantined, trapped, and left to die in overcrowded tenements. Out of the 14,000 people wiped out in a matter of months, the dead were disproportionately black. Then came the late 1800s, and President Domingo Sarmiento openly pushed blanqueamiento, aka the whitening. The government literally subsidized the migration of over 6 million Europeans, mostly Italians and Spaniards, between the 1860s and 1960s to dilute the surviving black and indigenous populations. At the exact same time, they quite literally erased black and mulatto categories from the national census, reclassifying mixed people as white on paper. If you don't count them, they don't exist. That was the logic. And the obsession with whiteness didn't stop there. After World War II, the government opened its arms to some of the most horrific white supremacists in human history, becoming the primary destination for the Nazi rat lines. People like Adolf Eichmann and Joseph Mengele lived out their lives hiding in plain sight in Argentina. Because of this brutal discrimination, systemic marginalization, and racial erasure, countless Afro-Argentines fled, crossing borders into Uruguay and Brazil just to find a place where black culture had a visible, established footprint and they could breathe without being treated like ghosts or criminals. We see the legacy of this history every single day. We see it when our soccer fans and players yell vile, subhuman racist chants at Afro-Brazilian, African, and French players. We see it in the casual, ugly racism Argentinos export when they travel to Mexico, Bolivia, or Brazil. And we see it in our politics. Argentina also voted against a UN resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade the greatest crime against humanity. Only 3 countries in the entire world voted against it: the US, Israel, and Argentina. The only country in South America to do so. Think about how deeply shameful that is. I'm half Argentinian.
Right. So as you can see, a lot of people don't like Argentina, and it's not because they don't like Argentina for no reason. It's because Argentina has a deep history, and it's not just like that history stopped. The Edomites in Argentina are still the same way now than they were back then, right? They haven't changed, right? This is why even when you watch the World Cup, you see a lot, not just the Argentinian football players who played dirty, but also the Argentinian crowd who were yelling racial slurs. If you look up a clip at Speed was getting racial slurs thrown at him, things thrown at him, right? So the thing is with these Argentinians is racism to them is also natural. It's kind of like second nature. It's not something they really think is a bad thing, right? And they even voted against the transatlantic slave trade being one of the greatest crimes of humanity. So as you can see, these Edomites have got to go. And the Argentinians, the Edomites in Argentina showed that, you know, they are no different. And it's very weird because Argentina is one of the most poorest nations on the planet, with their currency being worth less than a Robux. Right? But these Argentinians, because they're Edomites, will still scream high and loud and still have that pride against other nations and think they're better because they're classified as white. But Yahweh didn't forget what the Argentinians did and what the Edomites did in general. Let's get this out right here. Says Ephesians chapter It's like you. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 13. But all things that are reproved are made manifest by light, for whatsoever doth make manifest is light. Right. Now, of course, I want to get another scripture. It says, Proverbs chapter 15 verse 3, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Let's go verse 4. Let's go back, actually. But yeah, as you can see, the eyes of Yahweh are everywhere, right? So, really, a lot of the things that the Edomites are doing nowadays is, especially the Argentina, is in broad daylight. But what Esau likes to do is Esau likes to hide history under false righteousness, or Esau wants to not talk about it, and that's called hiding in the dark. So the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, beholding the good and the evil, right? Esau will try to hide, his wicked history, and he'll reward it in textbooks. Sometimes he may not even put it in a textbook. And a matter of fact, I believe with what's it called? There's this company called PragerU, and they're actually trying to teach that slavery was actually right. They're actually trying to teach that there was nothing wrong with slavery. They're actually trying to teach that black people, or really, the Israelites of the Southern Kingdom and the other nations should be grateful for slavery. For this is the viper that Esau is. Right? Esau wants the Israel to love his own oppression. But according to Yahweh, it says, Jeremiah chapter 31, at the same time, saith the Lord, will I be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith the Lord, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel when I went to cause him to rest. The Lord had appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love, therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Again will I build thee, and thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tablets, and shalt go forth into dances of them that make merry. Right. And we keep on reading, but as you can see, Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shah, is gonna has redeemed us, and is gonna set us back into that power position where we have been castrated off for so long for. Right? No longer are we going to be the tail of the world. We're going to be the head soon. Right? And no longer will Esau be the head, but Esau will be the tail. So, and not only that, but Esau is going to get punished. And I'll say this, Argentina is going to get punished as well. Alright? Those Edomites in Argentina are going to get very punished. Alright? So if this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Shan, Shalom.